Good day. Today I'm making a user-requested video on Superior Drummer. YouTube user When It Rains said, you should do another video on Superior Drummer 3, maybe a video that's easy to work in Superior Drummer, and then move it over to your DAW for quality mixing. Just show how you work with the system for writing and editing. So how I'm going to interpret this is I'm just going to focus on the multi-output mode of Superior Drummer, which is something that I wanted to make a video about before, but there is some glitchiness to it, especially with Logic. I think it might be something specific to Logic. I'm not sure. But I'm going to show you later in the video the problem that I had and how I have got a workaround for it now. So I've got my trusty iPad here, and I've got instructions that I've written for myself. So the first thing that we need to do is make a track and open Superior Drummer in multi-output mode. So let me just find Toontrack, Superior Drummer. So multi-output mode. And it looks the same as the regular mode, but there's something happening in the background that splits the outputs. So the first thing that we want to do is get rid of everything. So I'm going to go to a default setting here for the mixer that just clears my custom drum kit and everything. But the main thing is in the mixer in Superior Drummer, it got rid of all of the weird routing and anything that was going on with effects and stuff like that, because we want this to be completely blank, because all of that stuff we're going to do in the DAW. So the other thing I got to do, which I couldn't figure out a quick way to do this, but it's just like zero all of these faders. So I have to go across, and I'm like option clicking on everything so that we get a nice unity gain output on every track. I'm going to ignore the surround sound stuff because I don't have anything. I don't have a surround sound setup yet. Okay, so the next thing is we need to pick some drums to fill out the kit. So I'm not really a fan of any of these drums here, so I'm going to change it to my favorite stuff. So let's go to a Yamaha Beach Custom kick, and then make the snare an IOT 5.5 by 14 with the wood shell. Let's change our toms over to the Yamaha. The purple Yamaha, I think, has the most slammin' sounding toms and kick. So there we go. So that's all there. And let's fill out these cymbals. So make a crash. I like the Zildjian's splash. Why not? And let's make a China Zildjian crash ride. Sure. Okay, cool. So that's everything populated now in the kit. And so I'm going to show you something now that is a bit weird that I didn't know that Superior Drummer did, and I sort of came across it by accident. It's called Close Mic from Audio Instruments. So if you look in the mixer, you've got overhead dynamic and overhead condenser. So this is something specific to overhead dynamic. And what it allows you to do is create separate track outputs for individual cymbals. And I'm just going to do one as an example, because I don't really want to focus on this for this video, but it is something fascinating to me. So you go to here, and you go to More, and then you go to Route Instrument Microphones, I believe. And in this view, which I'm still not too familiar with, I'm on Overhead Dynamic. I'm going to click here and go down to Create New Channel. And it made X-Overhead Dynamic. So we can rename that later, but basically now in the mixer over here, we've got X overhead dynamic, which is going to be just the ride cymbal on its own output, which is pretty cool, because you might want to, let's move this over so I don't forget about it. Move it over away from the, can I hide these? Let's get rid of this this surround sound garbage. High channel. Okay, cool. So now we've got the regular stuff plus that X overhead dynamic ride cymbal on its own output. And what do we do next? Let's go to the bleed. So I'm going to start by just adding bleed to everything because later you can turn it off. But for like a template, I think it's cool to just have it. I'm going to ignore some of this stuff like snare. We're going to probably put it on. But the main ones, the most important ones are the overhead condenser, ambient ribbon, ambient near, and ambient mid for them to work properly to get like an actual room sound for the drums. Okay, it's already turned on for ambient ribbon. For ambient near, nothing is turned on. Okay, let's turn that on. And ambient mid. So there we go. And then overhead dynamic, what does it say? Nothing. There's no bleed for this because this is just a direct output from the cymbal. I made a note here that, yeah, you're going to probably want to remove the bleed from certain microphones, from certain elements. So it said like the kick drum in the ambient mid mic. So ambient mid mic is the mic that's the farthest back from the drums, and it's got a big sort of like ambience to it. And I found that if you put the kick drum into that mic, or you could probably just turn it down, or I usually turn it off, but the kick drum is just like crazy huge. And if you're doing a track that wants a big, like if you're doing like a Caius sort of track where the drums are like in a garage or something, it's awesome for that. But if you're trying to make like a tight, like Steely Dan drum sound, then it won't be so cool. Okay, so the next thing is we got to route the outputs to the mixer channels. So let's start here on kick 1. So there's a weird thing here that you would think you would start on 1 and 2, but 1 and 2 are like the main outputs from Superior Drummer, and it is the track that we're going to record the MIDI on, which it took me a while to sort of figure out the workflow for this. But if you just trust me and you start on 3 and 4, just ignore 1, 2. So kick is the very first thing. So 3, 4, and then we just go up from there. So 5, 6, and then 7, 8, and then 9, 10, and then 11, 12. I know this is tedious. 13, 14, and then here we get to the rack toms and floor toms. So I combine these to rack tom and floor tom as like 2 outputs. So I go 15, 16, and all the rack toms are on 15, 16. And this is just to save tracks because there's so many outputs that I think I figured out that I ran out of them. And then 17, 18 for the floor toms. And the toms are similar enough in their processing for, you know, EQ and compression and that kind of thing that, you know, I think that it works out okay. So 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. If I don't do this very carefully, I get confused. 27, 28, and then 29, 30. Yeah, and you can see we're almost out of tracks. We had like 1 stereo pair left for the outputs. So now they are all routed out of Superior Drummer. Okay, so I think I got to do some stuff in Logic now. So I go over to Logic, and let's get rid of this other track so it's not confusing. So we've got this one track now in Logic, but there's this little like plus sign here, and you click it, and then it opens these aux tracks. So I'm going to go all the way across to... Okay, that's all of them. So 31, 32 is the one there's no output to that, but that's okay. So basically, this should be now all the things in the drums. Yeah, so everything is outputting. And there's no effects. Everything is at unity gain. And here you can just start mixing. Like I could put, this is my kick drum, so I'm going to go to my custom channel strip that I made, and I got one called Kick. So now... kick. So there's like a Pro Q3 and a UADX DBX 160 on that kick now. So it's a bit more slamming. There's a ton of stuff in these like room mics that you'd probably need to EQ them and turn them down. So, the drums sound tighter and more sort of defined. Right. So the next thing we do is like if you wanted, you could go across and name all these, like kick in, kick out, which there's nothing in the arrange page yet. So what we got to do is select all of these, and you right click, and you go create track. So when you do that, now they are all there, which is great. Here's the thing. So you've got basic channel 1, that's what I was talking about, the output 1 and 2 from Superior Drummer. This is the track that you want to record the MIDI on. And all these other tracks are the actual drum outputs, which now you could actually automate them. So if you wanted to automate the fader or the panning of individual drum mics, you've got them all there, and there isn't going to be any like MIDI in the way to confuse things. So, let's say that you record drums on this one track, but then you want to record more drums or drum fills, or you want to record separately, like just the kick, and then you want to record the hi-hat or whatever. You just duplicate this track, and in Logic, it's Shift, Control, Enter. So now I have 4 tracks that I can record MIDI on. So let's just see. I'm going to try and record MIDI for a second. Okay, cool. So that's some great hi-hat performance there. And now I'm going to go and record like kick. Whoops. It didn't. Oh, yeah, right. I've got this set up to like not give me any pre-roll. Okay, let's just quickly quantize that kick back. So anyways, this is... Wait, the hi-hat is way, way off there. Come on. Okay, so what about this? Okay, so there's our awesome example of we've got the section with the MIDI, and then we've got all of our separate drum mic output tracks. Okay, so here's where we're gonna now save this, because that was a bunch of like fiddly work to route all those outputs and select our drums and obviously you'd probably made a mix of the drums and put plugins and changed faders, and you want to save that so that you can pull it into a new session without having to redo it. So what we do is you select everything, and then you go create a track stack and a summing stack. So now I can collapse that, and it just shows everything on this one lane, and we open it up, and there it is. So what you can do with this is you go, so you make sure you're selected right on the stack itself, and then you can go save over in the library for Logic. That's just in the bottom left here. And so I've got already SD3 multi-test, so I'm just going to click that again and save it. So save it and replace it. And so now that's something that you can bring back, which is great. The problem is, I'm going to show you. So let's say I'm going to go to one of my other ones that I made. So multi-out new is another one that I made. Do you want to replace the track stack? No, let's make a new track. So I just made a new track, so I'm not going to overdo what I just did. Yeah, okay, so here is the problem. So check this out. Okay, I am going to delete the test that we did before. So the track that we just made is gone. And now we got just the one that I've imported, which is a previously made patch with the multi-output. So check out this weirdness here. So you can see on all of these, it says input, and it's all grayed out. And when I hit the MIDI, nothing is coming through any of the tracks. Like, what? So what I figured out is that if you like expand this again, it's all doubled, which is super bizarre. So when I hit this, you can see everything's coming through, but like, what are we going to do? Like remake the mix again, or like have to copy all of the stuff over? Like, I don't know. But what works is if you just very carefully And if you practice this, it's not so bad. I've got this under control now. So aux 1 is 3/4, which is our kick out or kick in. So I'm going to select instrument 1 and then 3/4, which matches. And now that is going over here. So now we just need to do that for all of these. So in previous examples, it did work. I am just going to try again, and then I'll just edit it together, whatever happens. So let's just try this one more time. Okay, cool. So let's see, what does this look like? Okay, so we have the same thing again with these inputs being blank. And let's see if we can do that workaround that I came up with. Okay, so if we go kick in and then 3/4. There. Okay, so it worked now. So this is what's supposed to happen in terms of my workaround. So if I go to now 5/6, it's there, and then 7/8. You can see that it's like jumping over when I set the input. So 9/10. Okay, so now what happens? Okay, now it's weirdly coming out of both places, but let's see if I can delete this over here. Delete anyway. Okay. It's weird that also it moves the where the MIDI track is here, this basic. Okay, now I'm getting no MIDI. Right, I was on the wrong track. Okay, I can see. Yeah, it gets a bit garbled with this patch thing, as you can see, which is frustrating. But okay, let's just put a compressor on the output. So I'm going to put like a bus compressor on the summing stack itself, because that's where everything gets routed through. And normally I would like make a bus and then put the bus compressor on it for the drum kit. But with the summing stack, it kind of does that in a cool way. Okay, so this seems to be correct now. I'm sorry that was confusing, but that's how it's been. This has been my life for a while with this, where I just want to be able to like save it and then recall it and it not be a big hassle. But you can see here that things look correct now. So I've got this where it says channel 1, that's where we would record our MIDI. So like we'll like copy that. So I've got, this is all our MIDI parts. And then starting here, this is actually kick in. So I've got that out, sub, snare top, bottom, hi-hat, toms, and then all the room mics and stuff. And then everything, yeah, is lighting up. So that is the basic overview of how to do the multi-output in Superior Drummer 3 in Logic. In other DAWs, maybe it's a little smoother. That would be nice. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.